आदि गौर भक्त हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे 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 कृष्णा. So welcome to the Bhagavad Gita Sararth Varshani Tika, showering the essence, Sar Arth, essential meaning, the essential meaning, showering. Varshini means to shower, like rain shower. So that is the commentary name of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur. And then there is the Rasika Ranjan. After Bhaktivinoda Thakur read the Sarartha Varshini Tika, so in Bengali he composed a sub-commentary, Tika ka Tika, which is called as the Rasika Ranjan. And why did he term it as Rasika Ranjan? Because we discussed in the first day that ultimately Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur is seen from the lens of bhakti, pure devotional service, based on the philosophy of Mahaprabhu, Achintya Beda Beda Tattva, and then from the point of rasa, from the viewpoint of rasa. What is the actual exchange of emotions which are happening between Arjuna and Krishna? Externally, this dialogue is going on, the philosophy discussion is happening, but internally they are exchanging rasa. So what is that rasa is also being, discussed. So that's why it is called as the Rasika Ranjana. So yesterday, if you remember, we continued our discussion from the second section that ultimately Krishna is told that, although you are inclined to practice buddhi, which is Gyan Yoga, but you are qualified for karma. And it's not ghor karma. Ultimately, you are having adhikar for karma. And he is convincing from 3.1 to 3.10, in fact, 3.3 to 3.10, that why he should perform his duty, his duty as a Kshatriya, that is Nishkama Karma Yoga. One reason is because anyway you'll be impelled by the modes. Nahi kaschit shanamapi jatu tishtata karmakrit karyate hi avasha karma sarve prakriter jayar guner. So this is one reason. And then the second reason is because you don't become a pretender. Because ultimately, if you take up to Gyan without the purification of the heart, Nishkama Karma Yoga, within which there is Gyan present, it gradually elevates you and the Gyan keeps on increasing and the Antakaran gets purified. So, Nishkama Karma Yoga at the mature stage is Gyan. So the way to come to the platform of Gyan is through practice of Nishkam Karma Yoga. Otherwise, if you externally stop your, active senses, that the karmendriya, but internally you're meditating upon it, so then it will be Mityachar. So don't become a Mityachari. And the third reason, who will tell the third reason? Let us see. What is the third reason Krishna is saying that we should, he should fight? What is the reason he's telling? Let's see who knows. We have discussed in the first two classes this Govind and Nandini Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavad Pranam.
Yes.
Prabhuji, is it to lead by example, to give?
That lead, for example, will come later on only.
Okay, I'm not sure that, Prabhuji.
Okay. Sumit Kapoor Prabhuji. What is the third reason?
So, so just to clarify the question, so you're asking what is the third reason that that Arjun should be doing the Nishkam Karma
Ram
Yoga
Karma Yoga.
instead of
Yeah.
Gyan Yoga.
Two reasons I mentioned. What is the third reason?
Uh, if I can try that Bhakti Yoga is can only be given by pure devotee.
Prabhuji, we are not at all discussing about Bhakti Yoga now here. Nishkama Karma Yoga to Gyan Yoga. So
Hmm.
Bhakti, he is attained by the causeless mercy. That is out of question now for him now.
Okay.
So Third reason why he should perform Nishkam Karma Yoga. In order to maintain his body. शरीर का यात्रा है ना, ये शरीर का यात्रा, जन्म से मृत्यु का यात्रा जो है, शरीर का यात्रा, हाउ विल यू मेंटेन विदाउट डूइंग योर
Karma.
karma? You know, So these are the three reasons we discussed. Don't become a Mityachari, maintain the social order, and according to your adhikar, do it and maintain your body. So these are the reasons. And then if you feel that you are not qualified for Nishkama Karma Yoga, but you are qualified for Karma Kanda, then from Karma Kanda, come up to Nishkam Karma Yoga. So that is the discussion which we were having from 3.10 to 17. Yesterday we discussed Annat Bhavati Bhutani, the whole cycle, if you remember. How living entities arise from food, Anna, the whole secret, the whole understanding we gave. Then where does food come from? Anna. Parjanyat, rain. Rain is called as Parjanya. And rain comes from Yagya. Where is Yagya prescribed? The actions. Karma is prescribed in the Vedas. Karma Brahma Udbhavam Vidhi. Brahma means Vedas. And where does the Veda comes? Akshara. Akshara is the absolute truth, Samudbhavan. And that all pervading Bharvan is present in Yagya. So you will ultimately, you will fulfill your desires by doing sacrifices to Yagya, and later on you will attain Yagya. So from Nishkama, Sakama Karma Yoga, you will come to Nishkama Karma Yoga. So that is the point he mentioned. And now the third section is what we were discussing. Arjuna, if you think you are qualified for Jnana Yoga, still practice Nishkama Karma Yoga in order to set an example. So yesterday we saw these two verses which speak about how this person in Jnana, he is Atmaratir, he is Atmatrupta, he is Atmanneva Atmasantushta, and then he doesn't need to, perform his actions, because, there is, Antakaran is pure, so the modes are not impelling, his Sabha is not impelling. And by non-performing of his actions, he'll not incur any sinful reactions, because what is the reason? Kaschid artha vyapashaya, there is nothing worthy of taking shelter because he doesn't have any desires to be fulfilled. And then that's why he concludes the discussion. So Tasmad, when it comes that, some verses from the previous section he's concluding. So he is now concluding. Now Tasmad, this verse, let's now see who will answer. Tasmad means Krishna is concluding the discussion. So this discussion conclusion is from which verse to which verse? Let us see. At least, I will give the answer that, up till 18 verses, because 19th is Tasmat. So who will answer this? From which verse it starts? Tasmat is conclusion of the discussion. Let's see who will answer. Who will answer? Vinuta Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, I just joined. I got little late today. From 18th shloka itself, no, Prabhuji?
No, Tasmat means, see, a long discussion has happened, and okay, after this discussion has happened, okay, therefore we conclude this is the decision we are taking. So a long discussion has happened, and now he is concluding. So from which verse to which verse? Now I told, he's concluding from, the second verse I mentioned, it is 18. So which verse he's concluding? From which verse onwards to which verse onwards? So the second part I've already mentioned.
No, Prabhuji. I actually just joined. So
Okay.
I
But
got little
last
late.
2, 3 classes you have attended, you should know. Sumit Kapoor Prabhuji, yes, let's try.
Yes, Prabhuji, Hare Krishna. So, Prabhuji, is it from 3.10 onwards till 18? When he says, in the beginning of creation, Lord has created all the creatures.
Okay. Um,
Saha yagya pragya
it
srishtva.
is actually because the whole discussion that you should perform Nishkam Karma Yoga starts from verse number 3.
Hmm.
So the whole discussion, he's convincing that Arjuna, you don't perform Jnana Yoga but Nishkam Karma Yoga. And then if you think you're in Karma Kanda, still from Karma Kanda, come to Nishkam Karma Yoga. So this is from 3.3 to 10 or 9. And
Hmm.
this is from 3 point, 10 to 16.
Okay.
And then even if you're on Gyan Yoga, still come down to Nishkam Karma Yoga. This is 3.17 to 18 in two verses he is concluding. So it refers to everything, all these sections. I hope you are able to get it.
Yes, Guruji.
Hmm?
Yes, Guruji.
I hope it is clear. Any questions you have regarding this? Any questions? Any questions? No, na? Okay. So tasmad asakta. Asakta means satatam, always, karyam, karma. That means nishkam karma yoga. Asakto hi acharan karma. By doing like that, param. Param means the ultimate, So liberation here is because nishkam karma yoga ultimately the goal is liberation, but Prabhupada from the bhakti perspective mentions it is attaining the supreme. And then now we come to this verse, which is today's discussion. Yes, today we had supposed to discuss from here, right? Yes or no? Correct, no? From 3.20 we have to discuss from today,
Yes,
right?
yes, Prabhu.
Yes, yes. Okay. You to all so that there's no distraction. Now please hear this, huh? This is um, profound verse and it's only after many, many years even I understood this, the profound meaning of this verse. And that's why I put Bhaktivinoda Thakur's translation. Karmane vahi samsiddhim आस्थिता जनकादय लोकसंग्रहम एवापि संपश्यन् कर्तुमर्हसि. Just by the performance of prescribed actions, karmana eva hi. Janaka and others, Janak Adaya. So Janak actually is Mara Janak, the father of Mother Sita. But Janak, in that entire dynasty, everyone was called as the Janak. So all it refers to all those kings, coming in that, LST, and it also refers to Mara Janak. Attained success, some siddhim astita, and just with the consideration of setting example for others. Loka sangram evapi sampashan, you should perform prescribed work. Kartum arhasi. Now, please see how Bhaktivinoda has translated, and Prabhupada follows, see, Prabhupada's Bhaktivedanta purports, translation and commentary uh, is not based on the gradual progression of the philosophy which is evolving between the discussion of Arjuna and Krishna. But although it is evolving like that, but the ultimate conclusion what Krishna gives is Sarvadharman Parityaja, which is pure devotion. So Prabhupada, for all the verses, translation and purport, he gives from that perspective. So that, we in Kali Yuga don't have the ability to analyze Karma Yoga, Jnana Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, and actually decide which path is good for me. Brahma had to 3 times study the Vedas. First time when he studied, he felt that Karma Yoga is, the ultimate goal of the Vedas. Second time when he studied, he felt Jnana Yoga is the ultimate goal of Vedas. And third time when he studied, he realized, oh, it is Bhakti Yoga, Atmaratim, to develop pure love for, Krishna. So it took Brahma 3 readings of the Bhagavatam, and Brahma is the most intelligent person in this universe. And Tene Brahma Hridaya Adikave, he was directly instructed in the heart by the Lord. He was initiated, but yet it took him 3 readings. So Prabhupada makes for us very clear. But as we study Prabhupada's purpose over a period of time, we should also understand the flow which is happening within the Gita and the different levels of progressions which are given so that we can recognize, where we stand, where is our level, and how to further make progress, and Prabhupada will give in his purport in the 6th chapter, 47th commentary, that all these Bhakti Yoga, all these gradual steps, one should minutely study them, Prabhupada says. So here, from the Bhakti perspective, Bhaktivinoda Thakur translates this. Saintly kings such as Janaka, who were qualified for Gyan, attained supreme perfection in the form of Bhakti by performing their prescribed duties. Please, note this. King Janaka, who were qualified for Gyan, attained success in the form of Bhakti. Therefore, in consideration of setting an example for people on general, you should also perform your prescribed duty. Now, actually, King Janaka is a pure devotee. He is performing bhakti, Shuddha bhakti. And in the Varnashram, he is situated as a Kshatriya. Now, let's, where does, the progression of spiritual life begin from? The ladder of the beginning of the spiritual life, where does it begin from? Tell us, who will answer this? Where it starts from? Navneet Kalramataji, yes.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, done with Sakam Karma.
Yes, excellent. Sakama Karma. Okay. So let's take, this is just an example. We don't know whether he went through this because Janakadaya is there. From Sakama Karma Yoga, you elevate to Nishkama Karma Yoga. And from Nishkama Karma Yoga, by practicing when Nishkama Karma Yoga matures, you become qualified for Gyan Yoga. So Maharaj Janak was qualified for Gyan Yoga, but ultimately by the causeless mercy of the Lord, he got the highest path, which is Bhakti Yoga. So he was actually a pure devotee of the Lord. So he was transcendental, completely transcendental situated. And being transcendental situated, he had to come down to the Kshatriya platform according to his Swabhava. But he was not ruled by his Swabhava because his Swabhava impressions were not there. But yet he did that role. He did that role so that he can lead the Praja towards Dharma. Now, there is a story, very interesting story, which is narrated that Maharaj Janak, although he had this duty of a Kshatriya that, he has to attend the court, where the ministers, are taking decisions on policies, criminals are tried, and, Pandits give the justice. So all these functions he is to do, and then he is to come to the sadhu and sit in the front and hear Krishna Katha or Bhagavad Katha. And backside all sadhus is to sit. So one day, what happened is the sadhu was about to begin the katha and he saw that Maharaj Janaka was not there. So, the the king's secretary came and told that he's still urgently doing some important duties of the king in the palace. So he'll come in a few minutes. So this sadhu waited till Maharaj Janak came. And in the meantime, what was going on in the minds of all these sadhus? Arey, see this sadhu, because this king is maintaining him, he's showing favor, you know, and he's waiting for this, she is attached, because of the financial support. But this sadhu understood what was going on in the mind of, all these sadhus. And, Maharaj Janak came, and then the katha went on, and then he asked forgiveness for the delay. And then the next day, what happened is that Maharaj Janak came, and then the sadhus were sitting, and the katha started. Ultimately, emergency, the ministers and the secretary came and whispered something in the ears. No. First, what happened is, because the sadhu understood what was going on in the minds of these other rishis, Next day when the katha was going on, he told to set fire their huts, cottages, their bhajan kutirs. And the news came, oh, your bhajan kutirs are on fire. So they left the katha and went to save their bhajan kutir and their belongings. And then they came back. But the next day after this, all were again sitting for the katha. Maharaj Janak also was sitting. And the ministers came along with the secretary and told, there is a fire in your palace. King Janak said, let whatever happen, let it happen. You take care of it. I am absorbed in katha. So Maharaj Janak was least attached to his own palace. So this is the sadhu himself orchestrated in order to show these rishis that actually Maharaj Janak is attached to hearing Krishna Katha because he was a pure devotee. So this is the first point to be understood. Now there is something which is I'm going to speak a little deeper and try to carefully think about it and try to carefully understand this. So this is the soul, this is the subtle body, and this is the gross body. Gross body. Now the subtle body has impressions which are called as vasanas. Some are favorable according to our nature, some are in the form of sinful propensities. But Maharaj Janak, by practicing Shuddha Bhakti, now this nature of ours is there in the subtle body. But Maharaj Janak, because he was a pure devotee, he did not have the Kshatriya nature, but because all these vasanas were gone in him, his subtle body was completely pure. So he was not impelled by his Kshatriya Swabhav. So whatever he was doing as a Kshatriya actions, there was no reaction. There was no reaction. Because he was transcendentally situated in Bhaktiva. He was doing Nirguna Bhakti. Similarly, Ajamil, when he first took the name of his son Narayan, Samo Ajamil case is a very unique case and we'll not discuss that elaborately, but just to make the point, Ajamil, when he first took affectionately the name of Narayan, addressing his son, because he did not have any trace of aparadh, all his karmas were destroyed. But yet, please hear this carefully, Ajamil had his sinful nature of committing theft, robbery, doing sinful activities, and he continued to do those sinful activities. But yet the reactions did not come. No reactions. Because Bhakti Devi had manifested and it was like the snake, the poison from the fangs was taken out. So although he was doing the sinful activities, there was no sinful reaction for Ajamil coming. Just like King Janak, who is transcendentally situated on Nirgun Bhakti platform, came down to the Kshatriya platform and was doing actions, but there was no reaction. Okay, now we'll come to the purport. There's no much discussion in the purport. But if you have questions, you can raise your hands. He gives proof of such actions in the first part of the verse. In the second part of the verse, he says that if you think that you are qualified for Gyan, even then, you should perform action in order to teach the people. Now, Krishna gives himself as an example in 3 verses, which is very, very famous. Yad yad acharati shrestah tat tad evetaro janah sayat pramanam kurute lokastad anuvartate. Whatever actions the superior performs, yad yad acharatri shrestha, other persons will also perform. Tat tad eva itara jana. What you do according to scriptural authority, sayat pramanam kurte, means your action should be based on Shabda Praman. Okay. Your action should be based on Shabda Praman. It should be not based on whimsically actions, but based on Shabda Praman. So here Pramana means Shabda Praman, based on scriptures. Others follow Loka Tad Anuvartate. In this verse, he explains how the people are taught by following example. Actually, now people learn very quickly by example. That's the best way to learn Krishna consciousness. Krishna consciousness is not taught. Krishna consciousness is caught. Please hear this and try to understand. Caught means you see a person in action, Krishna consciousness. Seeing him, you are inspired to take up Krishna consciousness. So Krishna consciousness is not taught, it is caught. So here there are three things. There is achar, there is vichar, and there is prachar. So this verse is speaking of what? Yad yad acharati. So among the three, which is the difficult and which is the most easiest? Who will answer this? This is a very general question. Who will answer this? Among the three, achar, vichar, and prachar, who will answer this? Many hands have been raised. Okay, Govinda Nandini Mataji. Govinda Nandini Mataji. Yeah.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, Achar is the most difficult.
And which is the most easiest?
Vichar and Prachar.
No, you have to tell one,
Vichar, then Vichar is,
most easiest.
yeah.
Okay. Any other thoughts anyone else has? Yes, Chakrama Prabhu.
I go with Mataji's, but pitching is easier, which is also
Prachar is the
difficult.
easiest. And
Yes,
Achar is the
for me,
most
difficult.
difficult. Yeah. So, this is a very important point that Prachar is the very easiest. But, Vichar means what? Actually, what I am, what I'm planning to speak to others, let me implement with myself. So that thinking, if you do also, you're actually one step high. Even if you're thinking and you don't act. But when you implement it and actually then do prachar, then actually that is the highest. So prachar in one sense means prakrishta rupena achar. We are not speaking about the famous, Hindi word which is, the Hindi word which is achar, which is, pickle. We are not speaking about that. We are not speaking about that, definitely. So we are not speaking about that. So we have to understand this, So there is achar means what? Prachar means what? Prachar means prakrishta. Krishta. Krishta. Rupena achar. So in the Shvetashar Upanishads and in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, how education happens. This is a vast subject which is like a separate seminar in itself. Education goes through 3 or 4 stages, they say. Aditi, Bodha, Achara, and then Prachara. This is in the Patanjali Yoga Sutras. In the Shvetashwar Upanishad, it is Shravanam, Manana, and Nitidhyasana. How many of you have heard first time hearing these terms? Please raise your hands. How many of you are first time hearing these words? Please raise your hands. How many of you are first time hearing these words? Tirthpad Prabhu, you have heard this, right? Yeah, you have attended the Ishupanishads course. Yeah, so many of you have not heard. Actually, when you join Krishna consciousness, uh, this is the foundational course which has to be taught. And somehow we'll begin that foundational course very soon on the Bhagavad Gita. There's a foundational course on Bhagavad Gita. So there we discuss all this. So aditi means to study or to read or to hear. And bodha refers to buddhi. It comes from the word buddhi. And bodh means intellectual insight. Oh, I see. When you say, oh, I see, means you're not literally seeing. Oh, you get an insight in your intelligence. That is insight, bodh. That means you have understood what you have read. That is understanding. That refers buddhi. And then now you act upon it, achar, and then you do prachar. So in this Shvetashwar Upanishad's verse, Shravanam means to hear. Mananam means to contemplate on what you have heard. Or to ruminate. Like the cows, eat grass and they put it in the stomach, take it back, and then they keep on chewing it. So you have to keep on contemplating very deeply. And then you have to get, realization. So this includes both acting, from and, then after realizing, then you speak. Nowadays, it's very difficult, easy to, at this platform only go and speak. But, it will not work in the long run. That's why Kanishta preaching will not help. That's why Madhyamadikari can only preach, Prabhupada says. And because Madhyamadikari has understood the meanings of the Shastra and he has deliberated on the Shastra and he has understood the marma of the Shastra. So that is Nididhyasana. So this we will take up in our introductory Bhagavad Gita course on the philosophical definitions of Bhagavad Gita, which will start very soon. That time we will go elaborately into all these concepts. And then for you all, Bhagavad Gita will become also more interesting. Okay. So an example is better than a percept. Have you heard this statement? This is a statement of Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. An example is better than a percept. So, your actions speak louder than your words, So, yadyad acharati shreshta. Okay, now Krishna himself is giving example and he's telling that how, although he does not need to do any actions, but still he is performing actions. Name partasti kartavyam trishu lokeshu kinchana nana vaptavya vaptavyam varta eva cha karmani. For me, Krishna is saying, Name, O son of Pritha, Partha, there is nothing, na kinchanasti in the three words, trishu lokeshu, that is to be done, kartavyam. Why do people in this world work? Because they have some desire. But Krishna doesn't. He's Aptakam. He's Atmaram. He has created this world not for him. It is for these foolish jivas who want to enjoy matter. That has not been attained. Na anavaptavyam. Or that which must be attained. Avaptavyam. But I also perform duties. Varta evacha karmani. So Krishna's, especially his, Krishna played two roles. One in Vrindavan as Vaishya, and then later on in Mathura and Dwarka as a Kshatriya. And especially his role as a Kshatriya, he performed all his duties according to scriptures. His Grahas Dharma, getting up early in the morning, doing meditation, Sandhya Vandana, everything, he was acting as per the directions of the scripture. Even as a Vaishya, he performed his duties, but some of his actions, especially his Ras Leela pastimes, these are extraordinary pastimes which are translogical. They are beyond logic. They are translogical. And he does to, fulfill the desires of his pure devotees. So these actions, One should not imitate or try to follow, but rest all one should follow what he performed. So that's why Prabhupada in his purport very elaborately discusses that, if you want to imitate Krishna's Ras Leela, then first lift the Govardhan. You know, Powerful personalities, one should not try to imitate. So that's what he goes, he gives the example. There's no purport for this. And then if he doesn't perform his prescribed duties, what happens? He speaks in this verse. Yadi hi ham na varteyam jatu karmanyatendriya mama vartmanu vartante manushya partha sarvashah. If I were not to engage, yadi hi aham na varteyam, in work attentively, karmanya atendriya. Atendriya means with attention, full attention. At any time, jatu, men would follow my example. Manusha, mama vartmanu anuvartante. In all respects, sarvasha. Again, there is no commentary. I'll not go into the discussion of the Bhaktivedanta purports. Prabhupada gives quite elaborate purports because, for today's world, we need to understand all this. Utsider ime lokana kuryam karma chedaham sankarasya cha kartasyam upahanyam ima praja. If I were not to work, na kuryam karma ched aham, all people would be destroyed. Utsideru ime loka, I would be the cause of mixed caste, Shankarasya cha kartasvyam, and would pollute the descendants. Upahanyam ima praja. You remember in the first chapter that, if I participate in this war, one of the reasons Arjuna had given that Varna Sankara will happen. But Arjuna was in illusion. He was put in illusion. He thought what is dharma as adharma. And he is thinking that if I fight, there will be adharma in the form of Varna Sankara. In fact, by fighting this war, he will be eliminating the causes of Varna Sankara in the form of Kauravas, because they were all demoniac. And mixed caste would happen. And by dharmic king like Yudhishthira, dharma will prevail and Varnashram will be followed, so that there is no Varna Sankara. So that is why by Arjuna not fighting will be the cause of Varna Sankara, and Krishna, if he doesn't set up this example, then they will follow Krishna's example and cause Varna Sankara. Okay, Vishwanath Chakrathakur on this. Taking me as an example, the people not performing dharna would be contaminated. Mixed caste would result. I would be the cause of this. I would pollute the progeny. So here Krishna is taking upon him that he will be the cause of this. Okay. Any questions you have up till now, what we have discussed? You can raise your hands. Any questions, any clarifications? Up till now, what we have discussed. We'll now go to the next section also. It's a very simple section. Any questions anyone has? Up till now, what we discussed regarding achar, prachar, vichar, the 4 stages of knowledge, aditi, bodh, achar and prachar. Okay, so now let's go to the next section. Now, the way, especially in the other religions like Judaism and Christianity or Islamic religion, if you don't take up to this dharma, then you'll be eternally condemned to hell. But Krishna's teaching, Krishna, gives the free will to jiva, because when there is no question, if there is no free will, there is no question of love. So while Krishna is instructing, Krishna instructs in the form of contrast. He contrasts between karma yoga and karma kanda. This is by way of contrast. Karma kanda, these are the results. Karma yoga, this is the result. Now you choose. By karma yoga, you will attain liberation. By karma kanda, you will attain heaven. So the choice is given. When there is no choice, then it is forced thing. So, here he is contrasting between now karma yogi. Karma yogi means nishkam karma yogi and a sakama karmi. Now, where else in the previous chapter Krishna had done this contrast? Who would like to point it out? Where else he had done in the second chapter this contrast? Anyone? Let's see who will answer. Vinuta Mataji, okay? Yeah.
कर्मण्येवाधिकारस्ते.
He had contrasted with what?
Karma yoga and karma kanda.
Karma Kanda. Okay, where he had spoken about Karma Kanda? Can you first tell me that? Which verses onwards? Okay, if you don't remember the numbers, I understand. Okay, 31 to 37, he spoke about Karma Kanda, right? That Kshatriya Dharma is that, these doors of heaven are opened and this opportunity has come, and you can, if you are killed in the battle, you will attain heaven. Hatova prapsasi swargam, jitva va mokshasi mahim. If you win, you will attain the earthly planet. So he's pushing him to do prescribed duties based on desire, correct? This is sakama karma, correct?
Yeah.
But now, this sakama karma, he condemns it. He contrasts that, with what? With what? With what? I know it is a little difficult, but you can try. And anyone else also would like to try. Can try. Would like to try? Okay. Yeah, I understand it's, but in the flow of the second chapter, I have given it. But somehow, as we are studying, we have to keep on revising, then only. So you see, in the second chapter, jnana is, fight, but karma kanda, first application of anger, and then nishkam karma yoga. So this is, he has spoken, and then he condemns acting on this platform of karma kanda, and that are verses, I'll just mention here. So when he speaks about 2.39, Buddhi Yoga, please, again and again, I told you, you have to read Prabhupada's purport at least 25 times, 2.39, then you'll start understanding it. Buddhi Yoga can mean Bhakti Yoga, it can mean Jnana Yoga, it can mean Nishkama Karma Yoga. So Bhakti Yoga, he speaks in 2.40 and 41. And there he contrasts that with, those who are Sakama Karmis, they are Bhoga Aishwarya, they will not Samadho na vidiyate. That is 2.42 to 44. So there he has done this contrast with Bhakti, Buddhi Yoga, Bhakti Yoga or Jnana Yoga also you can take, because here now in the third chapter, Nishkam Karma Yoga leads to Jnana. It can lead to Bhakti also if you get the mercy of the pure devotee, because Bhakti can be only attained by coming in contact with a devotee. It is not, no other adhikar is required, for Bhakti. So like that, this contrast he has done 2.40, 41 and 42 and 44. So like that, now he is contrasting Karma Yoga with Karma Kanda. Okay. Now let's come to this section. Sakta karmanya vidvamsa yata kurvanti bharata kuryad vidvams tata saktah chikirshu loka sangraham. Just as the ignorant, yata ad vidvamsa. So Krishna is calling those who are sakama karmis as avidvamsa. Avidvamsa means, foolish, or in Hindi they say, buddhu, so foolish, avidvamsa. Sakta avidvamsa. Work with attachment. Sakta karmani kurvata. So the ignorant are attached to the fruits. O Bharata, the wise. Yata vidvan. The vidvan what? Desirous to teach the people. Loka sangram chikirshu. Should perform work without attachment. asakta karmani kuryat. So those who are wise, they don't have attachment to the fruits, but yet, to set an example to others, they also do. Both their actions look similar, but one is attached, one is detached. Okay, Vishwanath Chandra Thakur, very short commentary. He summarizes here that action should be done even by persons established in Gyan. So this person is established in Gyan, but still he, he performs what? Nishkama Karma Yoga. So Krishna doesn't at all recommend giving up activity. Krishna doesn't recommend. Now, just coming to, the bhakti context, there is Vaidhi and then there is Raganuga. So when one comes to the Raganuga platform, he need not follow the rules, which impels a Vaidhi sadhaka. But a Raganuga will follow all the, Vaidhi rules in order to set an example. So he will attend Mangalarti, he will sit with other devotees and chant. He can go, somewhere in his room and he can go into meditation and chant and he'll relish that more. But he will do that because, because to set an example. So, this is now speaking in the level of Gyan, but you can apply this to Bhakti also. Bhaktivinoda Thakur. Therefore, in order to instruct the people in general, wise people should perform their duties without attachment in the same way that the ignorant people perform their activities with attachment. Which is not required here, I think, somehow while typing. With attachment. There is no difference between the activities performed by the wise and those performed by the foolish. Is there any difference? Anyone knows? Raise your hands. What is the difference? Is there any difference between because both are doing activities. So is there any difference? What is the difference? Anyone? What is the difference? Sumit, Harsha Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. The wise do for the pleasure of the Lord, and the foolish do for sense gratification.
Okay, let's not take in the Bhakti context. One who is on Gyan platform. He is Vidwan. Why will he do his prescribed duties? While both are doing actions. You have to understand the question. Both are doing actions, both, seem there, both are doing actions. So what is the difference between the two? Vinita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. One is doing with attachment and one is doing without attachment.
The sakta, they are sakta to karma, attached to but the vidwan is asakta. There is only a difference in whether they are detached or attached to the fruit of their karma. That's what Bhaktivinoda Thakur says. Now, further, he is explaining about these, asakta. Na buddhi bedam janayed ajnanam karma sanginam joshet sarva karmani vidvan yukta samachara. This vidvan, he should not tell, hey, you don't be attached to the fruits because it will bind you. Because they don't have buddhi bhed. बुद्धि में उनका भेद नहीं आता है. The buddhi भेद जनयेत नहीं है. Because why? Ajnanam. Because they are ignorant. Karma sanyan, they are attached to the fruits. That is why Joshet, he should also with enthusiasm perform all actions, but with detachment. The wise man, Vidwan, should not disturb the intelligence, na buddhi bheda janet, of the ignorant attached to the results of work. Ajnanam karma sanginam, engaging in all work himself with detachment. Samacharam yuktah, he should engage them in activity. Sarva karmani joshet. Now, why? My question is, why a Gyan person who is on the Gyan platform comes down to Nishkam Karma Yoga and he's also doing actions with detachment, will also set an example others also, and others in general are attached. Why will he do that? What is the reason? What is the reason he will do that? The reason is because from sakama karma, they will gradually elevate to nishkama karma. And if he, tells, oh, you're attached to the fruits, you're foolish, then they will not follow the path of dharma to get their desires fulfilled, and they will perform vikarma, because ultimately the modes will impel him, and they will do sinful activities to get the fruits and sinful reactions, and thereby they will go to hell. But at least by dharma, they will gradually be elevating. So this is the reason they will not be, he will engage them, Joshit. Now please hear this purport of Vishnu Chakra, very interesting purport. You should not disturb the minds of those attached to action because of impure hearts by saying, this karma is despicable. Give up action and become successful like me by the practice of Gyan. Now, sometimes also, I know, uh, I have seen this in the last so many years. So many years I've seen somebody who comes to Krishna consciousness very soon, he is immediately attracted and then he starts up to practice. I remember now, this is 20 years back. There was from North India, very close to Mathura, officer in the railway station. And he got natural attraction for Krishna and he came and then he spontaneously took up practices of Krishna consciousness. And one of the brahmachari was preaching, you give up your grahast life, family duties, and come and join now full time, surrender your life. And this is, it's impractical. He has his obligations and he has to gradually evolve. Gradually, the detachment should come by fulfilling all his duties. So similarly, when one has karma as adhikar, if you said, oh, this is despicable, give up, he doesn't have adhikar for gyan. Only by nishkama karma yoga and purifying the heart will he become qualified for gyan. So if you preach like this, he will be neither, able to elevate himself gradually by following the path of Vedas, and he will take up to sinful life and go to hell. And by taking up Gyan, he is not qualified. So there also, he will be a failure. So that is why we have to be careful. See, when take a person, when your person is crossing a bridge, his faith is that bridge. I'm giving the analogy of the faith of the bridge. Now he has to cross the bridge and then you can cut the bridge. In between only, if you cut the bridge, neither he is on this side nor on that side. He will drown. So that's why this is the art of preaching and one should understand this. Instead, you should engage them in action, Joshet, by saying, perform action with desire and become successful. Doing those actions, you set an example for others. But according to the Bhagavatam, this is contrary to the statement of the Lord. You are telling them to perform actions, but Bhagavatam is telling something else. Now, Vishnu Chakra is going to higher level, the bhakti level. Swayam nishrayasam vidvan na vakte ajnana karmahi na rati ragino patyam vanchatopi vishaktamah. He who knows the highest good, Swayam nishrayasam vidvan. The highest good is bhakti. Will never instruct a foolish person. Na vakti ajnana. To engage in material enjoyment, karma. This is sakama karma. Just as an experienced physician, Bishaktama, why they is called as a Bishak, does not give his patient na rogino rati, food injurious to his health, apatyam, even if the patient desires. Vanchitapi. So already Krishna is saying that, you should not motivate him to do karma, which is like, giving, poisonous food, injurious food to health, because ultimately he'll be in cycle of death. So Krishna is instructing this. This is contradictory to what Krishna is saying in the Gita. There's no contradiction. True, but this is in relation to instruction given about bhakti. This person has been come in touch with this Sakama Karmi. He is having adhikar to give him bhakti. It is not contrary to give instructions in this way about Gyan. to giving instructions in this way about Gyan. But for Bhakti, you can give. Gyan is dependent on the purity of the heart, and purity of the heart is dependent on action without desire, Nishkama Karma Yoga. So, this verse is in relation to Bhakti. That's why every verse we quote, we have to understand from the Acharya's perspective what is the Siddhanta. Without understanding Siddhanta, so Narad Muni can speak this verse because he can give bhakti to anyone. Even if somebody is a sinful, like, the hunter or Mrigari, whoever it is, or somebody like Prachini Parishad, he was attached to Sakta, he was attached to Karma Kanda. And by his preaching, he, not only took him to the platform of, Gyan, but he took him to the platform of Shuddha Bhakti, by which he was able to give up Karma Kanda and directly he took up to Bhakti. So these are the examples in the Shastra. But this kind of instruction that, oh, you perform your actions with desires, it is not contrary in Gyan, because in Gyan you need purity of heart, and purity of heart is dependent on action without desire. But Bhakti is by nature very strong, and it is not dependent even on the purity of heart. If it is possible for you to produce faith in Bhakti in other person, now again, this is again a very important statement to be marked. Are you on the level of a Madhyama Bhagavat? Now, Madhyam Bhagavat is a different category. Madhyam Bhagavat is on the category of Bhava stage. Or are you, still a Kanishta, or a Madhyama, or a Uttam from the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu perspective? I hope those who have studied Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu with us will understand. We are still entering in the platform of Bhakti and we are developing our faith. There is a gradual development, Shraddha Anusari Kramena Hoibe Uttam. We are also, developing our faith and faith in Krishna, faith in Shastra, faith in understanding the meaning of Shastra. We are all here preaching. Are we qualified to give that person whom we are preaching bhakti? Like Narad was able to assure that hunter, you know, that, he said, how will I maintain my food? Don't worry, I will take care of it. Because Narad, by his yogic siddhis, was able to arrange that somebody will come and give, Are you able to have that potency? That is what we should see. Then you may disturb the minds of those attached to action. For those who have faith in bhakti, have no obligation for performing karma. I hope you are able to follow this discussion. This should be understood from such statements as follows. That for those who have been preached to take up bhakti, there is no obligation to perform karma. Now he'll give pramanas. So, tavat karmani kurvita na nirvidyat yavata matkata shravanadova shraddhaya na jayate. You do your karma, varnashram karma, as long as you're not still disgusted. And by hearing my katha, you have developed that pure faith, shraddha. When you have developed that faith, when you have developed that complete faith, and you have become completely disgusted, you then give up varnashram duties, that is karma. Otherwise, till then, continue. Tavat karmani kurit. Till then, continue. So when he has developed that complete faith, he has crossed the bridge and come other side, then you can give up. Otherwise, we need to balance our worldly duties, family duties, our duty to parents, and also practice bhakti and keep it in balance. So you cannot come to that Sarva Dharman Parityaja platform directly, Krishna is speaking in the 18th chapter. First, we have to realize that we are not this body, and that only takes many years to realize. As long as one does not become detached from daily and periodic duties, na nirvidet yavata, and has not awakened his faith, shraddha yavan na jayate, in hearing topics about me, mat kata shravanadova, one must perform prescribed duties of varnashram. Tavat karmani kurvita. The next, dharman santajaya sarvan, maham bhajet sa tu uttama, having taken complete shelter at the lotus feet. However, a saintly person ultimately renounces ordinary religious duty. Dharman santajya. Santajya means taja. Taja means to give. completely gives Yah Sarvan and worships me alone, Mam Bhajet. He is thus considered to be the best among all living entities. Sa Uttama, the best among all the worshippers, among the karmis, jnanis, yogis. But please remember, he has developed his faith, and his faith has come to the point of Sarva Dharman Parityajya. Again, 18.66. A very high level, very lofty level. Now another Sarva Dharman Parityajya Mamekam Sharanam Vraja. He gives from the own Gita. And then Narad Muni preaching to Vyas. Tyaktva sadharmam charanam bhujam hare bhajan apakko atah pate tato yadi yatra kvava bhadra budamushakim ko varta apto bhajatam swadharmata. If a person having given up his duties in Varnashram, Tyaktva sadharmam, begins the worship of the Lord's lotus feet, Hare Charanam Bhujam Bhajam, and happens to deviate or not reach perfection. In the path of bhakti, he deviates or he doesn't attain perfection. Apako va ata patet tato yadi. There is no misfortune for him at all in the future. Amush kim va abhadram. There is no abhadra. But what does Kava Artha, the person who follows all duties of Varnashram, Swadharmata, but does not worship the Lord, Abhajatam, gain, Apta. What does he gain? He who does not know the essence of karma is to awaken Gyan, which will lead one to devotion, is ignorant. Who is ignorant? Agya is mentioned here. Bhaktivinoda Thakur in his commentary is mentioning who is Agya. Who does not know that the essence of karma is to awaken Gyan. Nishkam Karma Yoga will lead to Gyan, which will lead one to devotion, because ultimately, the highest is bhakti. Krishna will bring out that yogi namapi sarvesham, 6.47. Due to this ignorance, he accepts the external fruit of karma in the form of fruitive desires. Thus, he is called karma sangi, attached to the fruits of karma. Even if one explains the essence of all truths to this person, he will not practice this with faith in his own life. So even if you give him that gyan, because he is karma sangi, attached to karma asakta mana, it will not go in his head, the teachings. Thus, learned person will not forcefully instruct those who are attached to fruits of action to renounce everything. So this is, very important. Rather, they will lead by example and instruct such people in the selfless performance of prescribed duties in order for them to purify their acts. Because ultimately by Nishkama Karma Yoga, you will purify your heart. Sakama Karma Yoga will lead to Nishkam Karma Yoga, and Nishkam Karma Yoga will lead to purification of the heart. Forcefully trying to instruct them will cause their minds to become bewildered, and then they cannot attain auspiciousness, liberation from bondage. So I mentioned that if he's in between the bridge and you cut the bridge, neither he's on that side nor this side. You should understand this as my instruction to those who wish to instill Gyan. This injunction, however, is not for those who are giving instructions on devotion, because bhakti does not depend upon purity of the heart. So this is what Vishwanath Chakravarti also has said. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is saying in simpler words. I will explain this more extensively later on. So when he comes in the middle chapters, he will explain it. Okay. Now, what is the difference between the Vidwan and the Avidwan? That is the Karma Kandi and the Karma Yogi, Nishkam Karma Yogi. That difference, how you will come to know between the two, because both are doing actions. Both are externally engaged in actions. So how you differentiate between the two? Two verses speak about it. Prakrite kriyamanani gune karmani sarvashah ahankar vimoodatma kartaham iti manyate. The person bewildered by pride, ahankar vimoodatma, thinks, manyate, that he is the doer, karta aham iti, of actions, karmani, which are being done completely. Sarvasha kriyamanani, by the body, senses and pranas made of prakriti. Prakriti ergune, the body, the indriyas and the pranas, they are all made of 24 elements. The body is, Prakriti is doing it. But because of Hankar, he is thinking like that. Now, who is this person who thinks like this? Who is this? who thinks that I am doing, I am getting the results of my work, fruits. Who is this person? Who is this? Uh, anyone else also? Who is this? Niti Mataji? Niti Mataji? You'd like to answer? Who is this? Who thinks that I got the fruits of my work? Who is he? Are you there?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Uh,
I'm sorry, Prabhuji, I don't know the answer.
oh, okay. Go Vinita Mataji. Yeah, Vinita Mataji.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Prabhuji, is it ignorant person?
But what is he's doing actions and he gets the fruits and he thinks that I have got the fruits by my work. Who is he? He's a Nishkam Karma Yogi or a Sakam Karmi?
Sakam, no, Prabhuji?
Sakam Karmi. He's a
Sakam
Sakam Karmi.
Karmi.
He's a Sakam Karmi. Okay. Yeah. So now, hear this now. A doubt may arise. How to distinguish a person in knowledge, Vidwan, from the ignorant person? Sakam Karmi. If the man in knowledge also performs action, both are performing action. Vidwan is also performing action. Vidwan is also performing action. So how do you distinguish? Two verses explain the difference. The ignorant person thinks that he is the performer of all actions. Kartaham. I did this. I accomplished this. I built the temple. Which are actually performed completely by the material senses, which in turn are the products of gunas. Actually, if the gunas, the Prakriti is under control of Krishna, Maya Dakshina Prakriti, 9.10 in the Bhagavad Gita. So if Krishna doesn't through Prakriti sanction, then you cannot, you're helpless. First day of my Bhagavad Gita course and I'm attending, and the sannyasi who's speaking, he told, even to lift your hand, if Paramatma doesn't sanction, then this hand will cannot move up, he said. I just could not believe this. But after 10 years, I went to visit my father's friend and he had paralysis. And more than that, he wanted to speak to me and he was not able to speak, nor he was able to lift the hand. Because when Paramatma switches the current off, your hand will not move. So the whole Prakriti is under Krishna's control. So, but he thinks, I have accomplished this. I got the results. I won the match because of my efforts. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, I am explaining the difference between the learned and the foolish person. Please listen. The jiva remains bound by material nature and ignorance. Thus, all his activities are performed by the three binding forces of material nature, sattva, rajas, tama. Thus, bewildered by false ego, he thinks himself to be the doer. Kartaham iti manyate. This is a symptom of the ignorant. Okay, so this is a little philosophical verse. This we will take up in the next class. In the next class, we will take up so that you will be able to clearly follow it. Okay, so I will stop now here, and any questions, clarifications you have, you can raise your hands. Yes, Chakram Prabhuji.
Prakriti's gunas are controlled by three modes of nature. And three modes of nature are so powerful that we are helpless. Then how our actions will take us forward?
No, what's your
You are
question?
three modes of nature only.
No, what's your question?
Prakriti is like 3.27 only. Prakriti is doing everything, and we think that we are doing it, right?
Yes, that is ignorance
But
because we are
Prakriti
attached
is
to the
controlled by
fruits.
but Prakriti is controlled by three modes, the
Okay.
gunas.
Uh,
Then we are helpless. Now, if I'm the mode of ignorance, I continue to do that only.
yeah, but you're in the mode of ignorance and you're thinking that, I'm a beggar and I'm begging, and I'm thinking that by my begging I've created this wealth, created this. So that is how, the beggar also is proud of his penny. So that ahankar is there. Even in tamagun it is there, even in rajagun it is there, even in satagun it is there.
That is
See,
what my question is. We are helpless now. Whichever gunas we are, means until unless we don't transcend,
so
it's
what?
very difficult.
So what? What is your question then?
When it's controlled by three modes of nature, then what is our role? Where's our role then?
Okay.
We are controlled by three modes of
No.
nature.
This will come in the fifth chapter. Kindly hold on in the fifth chapter. You'll have to little patiently wait till the fifth chapter, because third chapter will evolve into fifth chapter, and then the fine the philosophical understanding Krishna is going to give. Right now we cannot discuss it. So when I come to the fifth chapter, 5.13 to 15, that time I'll discuss this. Please remind me that time. Okay. Anyway, when that
Fair
time
enough.
it is discussed also, you'll understand it. Okay.
Fair enough, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions anyone else has? Yes, Sumit Kapoor Prabhuji. Sumit Kapoor Prabhuji. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, one clarification. We were talking about like this, there is a gradual progression from Sakam Karma to Nishkam Karma, then to, Nirgun Bhakti. So, and then in one of the purports, we learned that Bhakti is independent of all the Gyan and everything. So,
Karma and Gyan, correct.
karma and gyan. So when say in ISKCON, when we are practicing bhakti yoga and we say that we are practicing bhakti yoga, so we are from the day one we start practicing bhakti yoga, or we gradually do the sakam karma, then go to nishkam karma, then
Okay. I'll, that's what, this fundamental understanding is very important. Now, first you answer me now, because you are asking me question. Now, I'm going to ask the question back to you. Now, Bhakti Yoga means only performing the nine limbs 24 hours a day. Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, Padasevam, Archanam, Vandam, Dasyam,
mm,
Sakyam, Atmanivedanam, and nothing else.
mm,
Are you performing? Are the modes influence is there on you? And because of the modes, you are pushed according to your nature to do some activities?
yes,
Answer. Huh?
always.
Always. Then are you practicing bhakti?
Mm, maybe sakam bhakti,
No. No, Mishra Bhakti.
मतलब guna
Sakam
mishra.
Bhakti only, but
हाँ, sakam bhakti, yeah.
of course, there are a lot of divisions in that. We will not go into it now. When we come to the middle six chapters, we will tell all these divisions.
Mm,
you know, but we are practicing we are practicing some constitutional activities. Constitutional means our soul is our constitution,
mm,
and constitutional means just doing pure devotional service.
mm,
But we are doing conditional activities. I have a nature of a teacher, so I'm
mm,
engaged in teaching. I have a nature of a businessman, I'm engaged in business, and I'm balancing my business duties with my chanting and also. But actually, a pure devotee who's practicing bhakti means Mahatmanastu Mam Partha Devim Prakriti Mashrita.
mm,
9.13 in the Bhagavad Gita. He is completely under the internal energy of the Lord. So there is no influence of the Bhairanga Shakti. And Bhajante Ananya Manaso, without any deviation, continuously he is practicing bhakti. Gyatva Bhutadim Avyam. Satatam Kirtayanto Mam.
mm,
When he is practicing continuously, Satatam.
and-
Nitya Yukta Upasita, his link with Krishna doesn't get disconnected. Do you sometimes forget Krishna during the time of the day, Sumit Prabhuji?
Yes, most of the time.
So that if the link gets cut, ananya means na anya,
Mm,
then that link, it should not get cut. It should be continuously flowing, like the Ganga flowing from Gomati towards the ocean.
Mm.
It is continuously flowing. It's unstoppable. No obstruction can block it. All the rocks it will crush, and all the trees, and it will flow continuously like that. So we are practicing what is Mishra Bhakti. We have to understand. And then whether it is Pradhani or all, it is a wide range. And that is why when you study this Bhagavad Gita, you will understand all these different varieties of bhakti. Then you will be able to evaluate, who is practicing at what level of bhakti, that you will be able to understand. And then you will be able to understand yours, and then how further from there you should make progress also, that also you'll understand. I hope you got it.
Yes, Prabhuji. That
Okay.
really helps. Yes, Prabhuji. Thank you.
Okay. Any other questions? Any other clarifications? Okay, then. So we will stop now here. Okay, and we'll continue on Monday. ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भगवद गीता की जय, श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय. Hare Krishna.